Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering the hero commonly known as Divinity. Now, he made his very first appearance in the self-titled Valiant Comics series known as Divinity, issue number 1, that was released in February of 2015. His real name is Abram Adams, and he's an Afro-Russian that stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighs 230 pounds, having brown eyes and black hair. Now, Abram became a distinguished Russian cosmonaut, and this line of work would lead him to gain unimaginable powers. After embracing a mysterious entity or force known as the Unknown, Abram developed nearly unlimited abilities to manipulate space, time, and matter at the molecular level. He's basically a reality warper of the highest order, even being able to manipulate the perceptions and flow of time to individuals around him. Furthermore, he's not only able to just time travel, but his abilities give him immortality as well. His matter manipulation is so advanced that he can force evolution or de-evolution on any being around him, as well as exhibit vast energy projection from his eyes or hands. To go on, he's also telepathic and completely self-sustaining, not to mention having enhanced senses that put him on a near omniscient level. Oh, and if it has to be mentioned, he can also fly and has vast superhuman strength. Not that that matters at this point. Now, what we know is that around 1945, when Abram was little, he was left on the doorstep of the Russian foreign minister. He'd become a ward of the state, but would be raised to be the perfect symbol of Soviet loyalty amidst the growing racial tensions in America, with him going on to serve a distinguished career within the Soviet military. Because of his accomplishment and his seeming lack of family ties, the government would choose him to become a part of a mission that would transpire over the next 30 years. But unfortunately, his superiors didn't realize that he secretly had a Russian wife, who happened to share with him that she was pregnant the very day before he left on his mission. This was a sad event for Abram's family, but Mother Russia came first. This secret exploratory mission had Abram and 2 of his comrades kept in cryogenic sleep for years. But one day they would come across a peculiar singularity that they called the Unknown. Abram would then experience the phenomena that he couldn't breathe, so he took off his helmet, and miraculously, he could then seemingly breathe normally. And upon interacting with the Unknown, Abram would be imbued with vast powers. He'd instantly become aware that he was able to control the flow of time and space itself, as well as control all matter at a molecular level. He would then make the immediate decision to use his new abilities to instantly return to Earth, arriving in Australia in the year 2015. In total, 55 years had elapsed. Abram, or Divinity, would then start to use these new powers to grant nearby people wishes. This would eventually draw unwanted negative attention, first from the soldiers who he performed miracles for, and eventually from Unity, who were like the Avengers of the Valiant Universe. The members of this team were Livewire, XO Manowar, Ninjak, and the Eternal Warrior. And they were tasked with capturing, or if not, killing the new mysterious Abram that arrived on the planet. And despite their own impressive powers and training, Divinity would make very quick work of them, quickly using his telepathy and complete control over time to make mere seconds feel like months for the team. This would be disorienting enough to stop their attack. However, Ninjak's special training would allow him to break through this illusion, and he'd then help free his teammates from their stalled out condition. They'd all once again do battle, but at this point, Divinity's followers had amassed, being led by a man named David Camp, who Divinity had helped earlier. This massive battle would only be stopped when Livewire would use her powers to encase Divinity within a quote-unquote prison pod. This would contain him for quite a while, and he'd be kept docile by being fed images of his deceased wife and the daughter that he had never got to meet. With the powerful cosmonaut now seemingly being contained and being hauled off by Unity's superiors, his containment prison would be held several miles below the Earth's surface, where we'd see that he was using his powers to travel through time to past events to learn about his daughter and see some of his family. But obviously, Divinity wouldn't be kept here forever. because we'd later see him return to actually help Ninjak in the sequel series, Divinity 2. Here, we'd see the return of one of Abram's fellow cosmonauts named Myshka. And initially, she had come back with a vengeance to re-establish the Soviet Union with her powers and abilities that were very similar to Abram's. And all of this would come to a head, as well as establish the full extent of these beings' powers, when in Divinity 3, Stalinverse, the history of the world had been rewritten and the Soviet Union ruled the globe with an iron fist. Although Abram would eventually help Myshka come around. Since this time, Divinity has taken a very passive role in the complete Valiant Universe, despite arguably being the most powerful individual in their universe. He tends to only intercede when there's very powerful threats to their universe, often leaving small skirmishes alone, wanting humanity to experience a lesson from their mistakes. Considering this mentality, as well as his combined powers, this basically makes him Valiant's version of Dr. Manhattan. And he's definitely worthy of that type of title. Now, for his abilities and his influence on the Valiant Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Divinity, Abram Adams, a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.